everybody, Patty Ann here. Please excuse my voice. I know I promised a video today, so I'm going to try to get through this. I'm going to show you an easier way to do the card we did yesterday in Patreon. This is a sample. I just put happy birthday on this in a couple different places so you could see how it could fit. So when you open it up, it goes like this. As I said, I just put happy birthday here, here, and on the front so you could see how it works. So it works really easily. To me, the hardest part is getting this mechanism to fold up properly. I just have a hard time with that, so you might have to work at it as well. You might want to do it out of typing paper first, just to see if you can figure out the folds. So follow me to my computer and let's get started. Do know that this is going to be an A2 size card, and instead of it being this way that we usually fold it, we're going to cut it in half the other way. Let me get my cutter out and get a piece of cardstock. And usually what I do is I cut the card so it's like this in half this way. But this time I'm going to put it in here lengthwise and cut it in half this way. So since it measures 8.5 inches, I'm going to cut it at 4.25 inches. Right here, 4.25, just like that. So that's going to be my card base. I'll put one aside, and I can just fold this one in half. That's going to be my outer card base, and I can just use my bone folder on it to get a really nice sharp crease. Okay, now follow me up to my computer. Okay, here on my screen you can see the dimensions that you'll need for the card as well as my sample card. So notice it says there you'll need one card base. The card base is this part back here. The base is what you folded in half for an A2 size card. For the outer card layer, which is this dusty pink color, it tells you the dimensions. This is the second outer card layer. For the mechanism, that is this white part in here. It tells you the dimensions for that. And then this pattern piece here is the piece that goes over the mechanism. The inside rectangles are these rectangles right here and here. So let me show you how to make this so you have it available. All you have to do is go ahead and cut with your Silhouette or your Cricut. If you do take this over to Cricut, you'll have to change the score lines from cut lines to score lines. Okay, let's get started. The card base, obviously you can just take a piece of cardstock and cut it in half. The outer card layer, if you want to, you could come over here to the rectangle and get one that's any size and just resize it to 4 by 5.25. Hit enter. And what's nice about doing it in this is if you want to make this a print then cut, you can always come over here to the paint palette and get a pattern that you like to use. So maybe you want to make yours the B pattern, and maybe you want to make it much smaller. Let's see the scale. Whoops, smaller. And this would be your outer card layer. And then maybe your second card layer, you'd like to make another square or rectangle, and it's going to be 3.75 by 5. And let's further suppose that keeping with the print then cut, maybe you want to print then cut a pattern that would go with this or a color that would match. So you could come back up here to the color swatch area and get the eyedropper and then just click on one of the B's and that will change it like that, which would be kind of pretty like that. Although you really can't see the B's behind there, but you get the idea. So far what we've done is she's done the card base, the outer card layer, and this second outer card layer. I'm going to just group these together and move them off because now it's going to come the mechanism. You're going to make your mechanism for an A2 size card if you're following my directions. Let's see, we're going to make it 10 by 3 inches. So get a rectangle, draw it out. Doesn't matter what size because you're going to change it now. 10, enter, by 3, enter. Perfect, just like that. The other thing you're going to do is you're going to score this at 5 inches and 1.5 inches. So obviously the only place you can score at 5 inches is right here in the center. And since this thing is 10 inches long, all you have to do is make a score line and hold down the shift key so it stays straight. Put it in the center. Then just grab both of those and look at it's not straight. Let me get rid of that one. I must not have held my shift key down in the beginning. Start again. Line, shift, draw. Now grab both, and now I'm just going to center it. So that's perfect, just like that. I am going to change it to green because I always like my score lines to be green so I can keep track of them more easily. And I up the point size to 0.50 or bigger, whatever. I'm going to change the color of this square here so we can see a little bit better. What I can do is either change it up here, or if I want to, I just could come over here and change the transparency of it. So I'll just do that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to the line tool again, and I'm going to hold down my shift key and, whoopsie, don't want to start there. Let me hit Control Z. Get the line tool, start right here on the edge, draw a line across while holding down my shift. Let go of my mouse first and then the shift. And then with that selected, hold down my shift key and get the box. Come up here again and center. And again, I should have left that selected because I want to change its color since it's a score line to green, and change the point size to 0.50. And then I'm just going to group these things together. And let's see, what else do we have to do? The piece that goes over the mechanism is simply going to be 10 by 3. So I can draw another rectangle that's 10 by 3. By 3. Hit enter. Don't need to do anything with that. Well, yes, I do. I am going to be scoring this. It's easy to score it without even using your machine, but if you want to use your machine, go ahead and do it. So just like I had shown you in yesterday's Patreon class, what you can do for this one is to go ahead and move it up in the 0, 0 position by coming up here to the X and Y, make it 0, 0, hit enter. And then I'm going to put my first score line at, I'm just going to draw a score line actually. Uh-oh, I let go of my shift key first, I think. Hold down the shift key, drag your line down. And now, oops, while it's still selected, I'm going to change its color to green, change its point size to 0.50, and I'm going to duplicate it 2 more times. So I'm going to hit Control D on my keyboard. The last one's selected, so I'm going to make that at, let's see, what would that be? 7.5 inches. So I'm going to change it right here. I'm going to have it at the 0 for that, and I'm going to change this to 7.5. As I said, you don't really need to do this. You could do this by hand. Okay, the next one we're going to do is going to be at the 5-inch mark. So again, I'll make it at 0 at the top and 5 inches here. Okay, last one's going to be at 2.5 inches. There we go. So 0 for the Y and 2.5 for the X. So that's it. Let's change this to a different color so we can see it more easily. Again, we can use the transparency. And now you can see. So basically what you've done is you've cut this piece 10 inches by 3 inches. You folded it in half, and then you folded it again. And I'll show you that. Group. Okay, the last thing I have to do is the 2 inside rectangles. And I could put a different color of cardstock down here if I wanted to. Cut everything together. I'm just going to cut it out of one 12 by 12 sheet, just so you can see. So I'm going to get a rectangle again. And it says I need it to be, and I need 2 of them, 4 by 3.5. I'll click on that, make that 4 inches tall. No, 4 inches wide, doesn't matter. By, what did I say, 3.5. Okay. So that's going to fit 4. Oh, that didn't do very well. It changed it to 4. Here we go. 4 by 3.5. I'll just hold down my Alt key and make a second one of those. Okay, it's just like that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and cut these with my Cameo. All I have to do is go to Send, and I'm going to go by line color. Notice I have 2 different colors. The green is the score lines. The black are the cut lines. I always like mine to score first, so I'm going to hold on that with my mouse key held down, drag it up above that one. And I don't really have to do it. I could just unclick the other one. But I'm going to do the score lines first, and I need to change this, obviously, to score. And here's what its sign comes up as, and it's going to be cardstock textured. For this one, I'm going to use an auto cut, and we'll change that maybe as needed. But first, I'm just going to score. So I'll score these, cut them, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, I finished scoring and cutting this. Just take it off the mat. So these are the 2 pieces for inside. Put those aside. And these, depending on the scores, will determine what they are. It's hard to see the score lines, and I'm sure it's really hard for you to see them. And so what I might do is just fold this and maybe draw a line down here lightly. So it's kind of hard to see, even for me. Okay, so this is going to be my mechanism that's scored in half and in half this way. So this to me is the hardest part. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to take this piece and you're going to fold it across where where the 4 pieces meet, right? Like this. And you're going to bring it down until this score line right here meets this score line right here. So you're going to fold it down, and this is why you need to be able to see the score lines. So I think that might be about right, but I'm not sure. So what I do is I'm just going to fold it over like this and look at this side. I might be able to see better. Let's see, where's the score line? So got to match those up and turn it back over again. Make sure this side's matched up still. Need to wiggle that one around just a little bit. Okay, once you're happy and think they're pretty well lined up, then you can use your bone folder and give it a good press. Okay, like that. So I'm hoping that it went right through the center. Yeah, pretty good, not perfect. All right, so this one I did down like this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up. So the first one you go down towards you, and the second one using the same side, you just go up like this, twirling it so that this piece, this fold line right here, matches that score line right there. Okay? Give it a little tiny press, because then you want to come over on this side and make sure that these 2 are also aligned up. And if they aren't, you can move them a little bit to get them lined up nicely. And let's see, go back on this side for a sec. Looks good. So I can use my bone folder. So that part's not the hardest part to me. What's coming up next is the hardest part. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and fold this back on itself like this. Okay. Then all you have to do is just kind of leave it alone like this. And if you just leave it like this, can you see how it's kind of coming together? So if you take these 2 pieces, whoops, now wait, and fold them, and bring them together like this. There you make your mechanism that you need. This part will take you probably some time. It did take me some time. So the first thing you do is after you do all those folds, just kind of like drop it there. It's going to come up like this a little bit. Then you're going to pinch these two things together and push this together like this. And then do that. Okay. So then you have your nice little mechanism. So next I'll show you how to glue the mechanism into the card. Okay, here's my card base, and I'm going to glue this mechanism right into here. So the point of this is going to go to the fold of the card. And you can use wet glue or whatever kind of glue you want. I happen to have my ATG gun that I use for almost everything right here, so I'm going to use it. Just going to put some of this on this side. So then what I'll do is I'll just kind of eyeball the center. You can mark the center easily. I'm just going to eyeball it right now, though, right like that. Kind of make sure that this is still going to fold properly. Yep, perfect. Whoops. Okay, there we go. All right. So then I'm going to go ahead and do this side. So all you do is that top little triangle up there. That's the only place you put the glue. Put it together. So there's your mechanism ready to go. Notice I had to put a little tape on mine because I had my score a little bit too much for my cameo. There we go. So take your bone folder now, if you have one, or a ruler if you don't have a bone folder, and just kind of squeeze it into place. And that kind of trains your card to do exactly what you want it to do. So the next thing we have to do now is take this piece that we had scored. And remember I said you don't really have to score it on your machine if you don't want to. But if you're doing a print and cut, you have it in there, why not? What you can do is just fold the thing in half and then bring this side. Hey, I didn't fold this right. Okay, there. I didn't score this one right. This should have been way over to here. So I'm going to have to look and see what I did wrong. So I make sure that I have the correct directions for you. Let's see. So this is scored at 2.5, 5, and 7.5. So I'm not sure what I did wrong. But anyway, this is correct now. So what you do now is you're going to put this on here to cover that up. So what you're going to do here now is you're only going to put glue on the top part right here and on the bottom leg right here. So I can go ahead and do that now if I want to. I could decorate this first if I wanted to also, which would probably be a good idea depending on what you're putting on it. But I'm not going to decorate it for this demonstration. So I would just line this up perfectly. Okay, there we go. Alrighty now. Oh, see what I'm having trouble? This piece has to be the mountain fold coming towards you. So you got to make sure you do fold these so they work right. There we go. And then let me train my cardstock. As I said, using a bone folder or a real ruler here will help you. So then I'm just going to open this. I must have some glue or I don't want it. Okay, there we go. So there's how it's supposed to work, just like that. So then what I would do next, I must have a little bit of glue on here somewhere. I hear it sticking. Got some glue where I didn't need to have it. I think it's right on here. Check it out later. Anyway, so these pieces right here just go on here like this and like this. And then you can decorate the front however you'd like. Again, I would put several pieces on the front to make it look really pretty. Really fun. There. So This is a lot easier than what I showed yesterday. I think the hardest part is just getting the mechanism to fold properly. So use this again. This should come out like that, just like that. All right, let's try it. Here it's sticking. So I have some glue where I shouldn't have it somewhere, but it's working well. I'm just not sure. Anyway, that's how easy it is to make this. So I could just go through my little series of things that I have and put something on here if I had something small. Celebrating you. Maybe my owls. I have some little teeny tiny owls. Just haven't colored them yet. Oh, here's one. Let's see. It might be too big. But look, aren't those cute? I could put any one of these things on here. Little dinosaurs. Anyway, so that's how you do this. So feel free to watch this again and again if you need to. You would just put your fancy stuff on the front. Let me see if I can bring mine over here again, the one I made earlier. Here's how it looks. And when you don't have glue stuck anywhere, it opens just like this. And it closes. So this one works pretty much the same, other than a little glue sticking. Opens, closes, opens, closes. So I hope you enjoy making these. Let me know if you guys make them. Again, sorry for my voice, but I promised you this video today, so I wanted to get it out there for you. Thanks again. Hey, if you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Check out my links down below, and consider joining us on Patreon. We have a lot of fun over there every Saturday. So we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.